Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes, it is.
So, last we left off, you guys arrived in the city of Opius. As described by your tour guide, who may or may not have overcharged you. And you guys gave him a generous tip on top of the overcharging. So that's pretty snazzy. There are different districts of the city. There's the merchants district, and then there's the residential district, then the wise district, where most of the government buildings are, and where Demir and Lish decided to spend the evening at the most expensive inn in town, whereas everyone else stayed at the normal inn. You guys explored the city a little bit. You briefly went into a magic shop. You ignored the shop owner entirely when he greeted you guys, and then yoked right the fuck out of there and ran into a mysterious figure who had oddly a picture of you guys, but older among his things. Some of you also went to get some leather work done by the docks.
Yeah.
And all in all, a pretty chill session.
I swear I'm not suspicious.
I don't believe that, but I'm sure Aaron does.
Why are you yelling at me?
You've committed crimes.
And Skyrim
So
and
many
her people.
crimes.
What say you in your defense?
Who hasn't committed a few crimes?
Back in my day.
Stop! You have violated the law!
Great camera work there.
Yeah, so it's dawn, it's morning. 'Tis
Yep.
the light of day.
That's right.
Actually, if I could get one last thing in during the evening period.
Sure.
All right. So, contrary to what I might have said to be, I'm actually going to be hella rude to Hawk and spend all night just murmuring to myself. So, Hawk, are you going to pick up on that?
Hawk is not going to do that, actually. He's just
All right,
gonna
in that
lay
case,
there.
let's move on to the morning.
Okay. Do you sleep at all?
I'd like short rest.
Short rest. Okay.
Okay, then.
18 points of exhaustion for you.
We make good decisions in this household.
All right. Yeah. You stay up thinking about that nice conversation you had with Demir.
I look out the window for a little bit and then eventually go to bed.
Okay.
How many tears does Aaron just like very sneakily wipe away from his cheeks?
Oh, poor man.
I will neither confirm nor deny the accusations in that question, but I will say that I wake up and my hand is wet.
Aw. Does Hawk not catch any of the things that Aaron is mumbling?
His hand
Probably
is wet
not,
because
if
Hawk
he's
did
not
the thing where you put someone's hand in water to try and get them to pee while they're asleep.
Well, now Hawk is
God.
suspicious.
No, he stays in his bed. Just like turned.
All right.
Not my monkeys, not my circus.
Is he like maybe internally like this seems more complicated than I think is worth getting into at like 10 at night?
That is understandable.
I'm
lad,
tired
good
and I
lad.
don't want to deal with this shit right now.
It's probably not my business. Maybe I should just
And be like,
Pretend to be asleep.
oh yeah, sure, I'll take the new guy as a roommate. Spends all night having a complicated moral monologue.
It's just that one meme of like person laying in bed, and it's like, ah, yes, just me, my roommate, and them having their complex
crushing
inner monologue.
existential crisis.
it's just like
It's just like,
the brain in the third panel, like murder, and then Aaron's eyes are just like bloodshot, wide open in the darkness.
Both of them.
Murder.
So, in the morning, what do Lich and Demir, do you guys rejoin everyone else, or do you stay in your fancy hotel room?
I think that there are several attempts made by Demir to just go, and there's a bit of kind of dragging back to bed. Just like, look, we check out at like 11. Like we gotta make the most of this hotel room while we got it.
Literally, you're in like the most comfortable place in the city. Why would you ever leave?
Right? Until they kick us out.
Next time you go, there's like pictures of you guys on the wall. It says, "Do not serve these people."
Look, we didn't destroy the room. We didn't cause any chaos. We just stayed
Somehow.
in the hotel.
We're very polite guests. Have us over.
We are polite guests. We will destroy none of your stuff.
We promise. ...
I mean, look, we
Hold
may make
a
a
man.
mess of the bed, but like that doesn't necessarily mean.
Man, he's there.
I mean, like, probably in the a boy. Probably in the early morning, there is a lot of Demir just like staring at Lish for a very long time.
Wish playing dead.
Before trying to get going and then being dragged back and et cetera, until our checkout time, whenever that is.
Lish
Alright.
is very much like, after this, let's go to the bathhouse. We can even invite your weird friends.
They're not my friends.
Especially not
They follow
him.
you everywhere.
Yeah, that is weird.
All right. So, you, one way or another, you eventually make your way back to everyone else. And by this time, I'd say probably the party, at least most people, are hanging out in the tavern area of the inn, maybe having some kind of sleepy breakfast.
Sleepy breakfast. Melatonin-laden eggs.
Love my eggs with extra melatonin in the morning.
Yeah, how many? So who's downstairs already, and who's still mumbling in his bed?
Shut
Better question would be like, who's up first? Probably.
Who's on second? Who's on third?
No. Who's on first? We only had enough
Playing
room
baseball
for
here.
one. We only had enough room, and we only had enough room for one who on this team. You don't want to have multiple people with the same name in the same group. It just gets confusing. Looking at you, Avery.
The best part is that for some reason I was mentally processing that as like,Orden, here's a who. You just have very, very tiny humanoids just swarming first base.
We are here.
We're on first. You're on first.
They're either not gonna catch the ball or be crushed by it. And either way, they're not a good first baseman.
Oh god. Well, I guess I'll make Hawk the first to get up then.
All right. Okay, what else?
Kept awake by all the mumbling and crying.
Tobias was probably the
Bored of you toasting him, I can sleep.
B's up
Second,
pretty
but-
early. B probably goes down there towards the beginning of the pack.
To be fair, we don't know your species, Hawk. We don't know that you sleep.
I intend to keep that a secret.
Could be an elf. Could not be an elf. Who knows?
Who knows?
Certainly not I, the DM.
Oh yeah, not even Avery knows. I made sure of that. I don't know how she let me in this campaign.
I don't even know Hawk's class, to be honest.
Is Hawk even real?
Is he a
Just
ghost?
don't know.
I
Alright.
choose to believe that he's a bunch of literal hawks in a trench coat. And
Yeah, I
does
buy
a
it.
really good job of pretending to be a wizard, but where his only spell is summon hawk.
I am
Summon
there
Hawk.
for this headcanon.
Spell is summon Hawk because he is made of hawks.
One of the hawks just flies out, does thing, flies
They're
back
onto
up
me.
his sleeve.
Exactly.
So Hawk and Bee head down. Do you guys sit together or do you glare at each other from across the room?
I'll say that Hawk just sits somewhere and he doesn't mind if someone joins him.
B will walk over and coo questioningly, gesturing at the seat next to him, but not sit down without permission.
He looks down direction at her, and just like nods his head with a quiet yes.
He'll sit down.
He just sort of sits there awkwardly. As far as B can tell, it doesn't seem like he's even ordered anything.
Oh, how about them tankards?
Tankards, you say?
This isn't awkward at all. It's a sign.
And kind of looking up around the room, there are maybe a couple people awake. There's a couple people awake. Isaac, the owner of the inn, is already at the bar, and he's kind of doing some morning prep work. And the barmaid is there, but she's kind of sitting off to the side reading a book, and she's like, I'm technically on shift, but like I'm tired, so I'll come over when you guys wave me over.
Honestly, fair enough.
Well, B definitely isn't going to.
B.
I don't know, after a sec, I've got breakfast sandwich in my mouth.
Wow, the immersion.
You can really feel the breakfast sandwich.
It's like he's really eating breakfast.
who wakes
It's like
up
it's
next?
10:25 in the morning or something.
Tobias will probably head down.
All right. So you head down and you see Hawk and Bee sitting there at a table, neither of them saying anything.
I can't talk.
You
Stop
could
bullying
play a
me.
game with him or something. I don't know. Rock, paper, scissors. Keep yourself entertained.
Do you know chopsticks?
B suddenly pulls out 3 cups and a marble.
Okay. Hawk sort of just like notices Tobias coming down, like briefly like gives him a slight nod, and then he turns to B and asks, "Do you want anything?" Isaac, do you have a menu anywhere?
Isaac was over at the bar. Are you waving him over?
Yes.
He stops what he's doing. I assume stacking tankards, innkeeper things.
Just innkeeper things.
And he comes over and he kind of claps Hawk on the shoulder and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? How you doing this morning?"
Fine. Thank you for asking. Do you have a menu by chance?
Well, don't really have too much of a menu. Most people that come here sort of just know what they want, but I can list a few things if you're interested. Are you interested in the breakfast or just in general?
Hawk looks over at me and holds up 2 fingers. He waggles the first one. It says breakfast.
Breakfast?
Breakfast.
Well, let's see. We've got some sausage links if you're into that kind of thing. I don't know if you eat meat.
First finger.
We got some eggs, and he kind of looks sideways at B, like he doesn't know if that's offensive or not.
Are they Kenku eggs? Oh god.
Uneasy second finger.
Like he's like, "Hey, there's this bird.
It's a bird
Here." And I just offered her eggs. Is that weird? Well, we got anyway. We got scrambled and we got omelet with onions.
Have you ever met chickens?
Otherwise, there's could get you some bread. If you want something a little
Omelet with
sweeter.
onions.
All right, sounds good. Anything for you?
Oh no, I'm planning on eating later.
Since Tobias had come down, he kind of notices him. What about you? You hungry for breakfast?
Sure.
What are you in the mood for?
I guess sausage and bread.
All right.
Something.
I'm looking up the prices here.
How much? Okay.
Yeah.
I've asked this like 3 times and I know that and I'm sorry, but the money that was split from killing Maven, how much was it?
Let me find it.
I guess if you can just tell me it's all, I can divide it between 6 of us.
Hang on, I'm
Did it
trying
not
to
already
find.
get divided?
Did it get divided?
I think it had already gotten divided.
And I got divided
notes
last
are-
time, I believe.
My notes are loading, but I think I had split it up for folks, but I can't.
thought I had
Awesome,
already
thanks,
added that to
because-
my...
I did not, because I don't remember seeing the amount. My brain has memory gaps.
Oh, I'm putting this down in the chat. That was the total.
What?
14 gold pieces, 24 silver pieces, and 55 copper pieces. That's
That's
how
the total?
much she had total.
Okay.
Cool.
Then the price for the food, that would be about 4 silver pieces for B, and then 3 silver pieces and 2 copper pieces for Tobias.
Okay. I'm pretty certain I have. I'd like to believe that I have that amount.
I was trying to figure out what that amount of that amount of cash split divided evenly on 6 people would be, and then I immediately got hung up on the fact that 14 gets split up into a 3 repeating. Like,
I
oh,
think that-
that's not an amount.
Maybe
I
I,
think
didn't
that
write it down.
At least
actually.
what I had done when I was splitting coin earlier was that I just kept whatever was extra as party funds.
That makes sense.
That's how I usually do.
Yeah.
Don't yell at me, Mohindra. Oh my god.
Cat's yelling at everyone.
He's over there looking at me and screaming.
What are you doing?
Okay, I'm just gonna like make a note of this and I'll fucking figure it out later. I tell myself for the 57th time.
All right.
Money
So-
isn't real anyway.
Isaac, having taken your orders, wanders off. Anyone else coming downstairs?
Yeah, I suppose at that point I'll make an appearance.
All right.
Probably late. I slept in. And notice, don't know if Tobias is over there, but Hawk and B sitting together and just saddle up to the table.
Tobias is there too at this point.
Wait, I'll saddle up to the party's table then. Hey guys!
Oh, good morning.
Morning! Have we already ordered?
Some of it's fun.
Omelet with onions.
Yes, those 2 ordered. I'm planning on eating later. It shouldn't be too late for you to put one in as well.
Alright.
Isaac has gone into the back, presumably to the kitchen, but there is still the half-elf barmaid sitting in the corner reading her book.
Gonna grind, and on realizing that, probably just gonna sit there and wait for Isaac to make an appearance. Presumably they're gonna get their food delivered in a bit, and I can order then.
All right. At this point, Levy comes down and she has this seat, kind of gives like a small good morning and starts to look at some books a little bit that she has with her writing journal.
Tobias is gonna turn to B and say, the blacksmith yesterday finished preparing the leather. I'll be able to cut out what I need and make a book for you.
Thank
I
you.
just need to get paper and some needles for needle thread.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a clever solution, actually. From what little I can tell, well, Bee did tell me herself that she can't talk.
Yep, we've been having her write stuff down in times.
Something else.
It's at this point that Lish and Demir come into the tavern.
It's gonna notice that, I guess, and wave, morning!
Hawk turns to see who it is, and the moment he hears Lish and sees those two, like, visibly shrinks a little, and he's like, oh, hello.
So how messed up
More
is-
shrinking and cowering. I love it. Out of character.
Just the emotions Lish inspires.
The confidence.
So the real question I want to know, Kenzie, is how messed up is Lish's hair?
Oh, boy.
I mean, he doesn't have the pixies. His hair's not as usually kind of braided as it usually is. It's very kind of just plain. It's a little must. We'll be honest there. It's very plain in comparison to usual. But he has done his hair flowers this morning. He some flowers in his hair, and they're very bright, summery, like California poppy sort of summery oranges and yellows.
This is not related, but I just glanced at the not author, composer for the current song playing on Avery's Place, and I just had the immediate like Davenport reaction of I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
Yep.
Like my favorite line in 3, period.
Demir kind of looks a little surprised at how bright and cheery Aaron is this morning, and just kind of, well, somebody woke up on the right side of the bed.
Is that audible?
Are you saying that just to me, or?
I'm saying that just to Lish. Actually, I probably said it in Sylvan, if I'm being honest.
Lish doesn't seem to really react to that.
And I took the complimentary bottle of wine from our room.
I mean, it is complimentary.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
I'm getting that room for everything it is worth.
Cilia, the half elf, she puts her book down and heads into the back of the tavern.
She comes back with a shotgun.
Oh no! Oh shit! Oh
This
fuck!
is more of a tavern brawl than I signed up for.
Oh no! We didn't even start a fight.
Hey, you know what? If you want to start a tavern brawl,
It's too early for a tavern brawl.
Too
Too early for a tavern brawl. Needs to be at least evening.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to get drunk. I think it's too early for a tavern brawl.
Yeah,
Never
precisely.
too early to get drunk.
That's true.
Yeah, Lish comes over to your guys' table and kind of puts his palms on the table like, we are going to the bathhouse after you are done eating. If you'd like to join, you are more than welcome.
A bathhouse?
Mm-hmm. Did you not hear our guide yesterday?
Guess Aaron's gonna go. Like with bathing?
That's like with
is-
bathing, that is in the name.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is what a bathhouse is.
And Aaron's gonna raise an eyebrow.
I don't fully understand it either, honestly.
Have none of
Ooh,
you
Yes!
been
Oh no, there's an
to-
entire page.
That's awful.
Sorry, I interrupted someone.
Have none of you been to a bathhouse before?
I usually bathe alone.
This is
Yeah.
That
the
is
largest-
unfortunate.
Aaron's gonna immediately respond, yeah, me too.
The last town we were in was one of the largest towns I had ever been in until we arrived here.
That is unfortunate.
Lish looks to Demir like, who are these people?
That is unfortunate. We can correct that. I am going to go to the bathhouse at least.
These poor tragic babes, never having been to a bathhouse.
Well,
Does she that in character?
How do you
Nope.
clean?
His face reads that
Next-
way, though.
Uh,
The tragedy of your lives.
Next thing you're going to tell me, you guys bathe in the river.
I mean, I
um,
have.
No,
it's been known to happen.
I have bathed in actual baths, mind you.
I've never found it to be a problem.
Beth.
Oh dear, we're all
Sounds like
going to
he
get dragged on
has.
this, aren't we?
Only if you want a good time.
A good time involving bathing?
Hawk somehow looks at Lish without making eye contact, but like the face is like nearly dead on, and he's just like, I would rather not.
Well,
Tobias kind of subconsciously reaches for his left shoulder, hand kind of tightening on his cloak. We're saying, I believe I agree with Hawk on this one.
well, I
In spite what the insinuation is from him,
Insinuation.
Bathhouses are not houses of ill repute. They're just places where you go and get clean.
Is there areas to do so privately?
I assume? I don't know. I've never been to a bathhouse in this country.
I'm just gonna sit there for a moment and then actually sneak a look at Hawk and then be like, and they probably involve taking off your clothes and then shrink back a little.
Yes. That, do you usually bathe clothed?
Depends on the mood.
I mean, if you're considering rivers bathing, then I have jumped in rivers clothed.
You
At
know
this
that
point,
doesn't
Celia
count.
comes by with Tobias and Bee's breakfasts.
Oh, could
you.
I
Thank you kindly.
get some bread?
Just a loaf of bread?
Yeah.
Sure, 2 copper pieces.
And I'm gonna fork that over.
I want to take a break from the D&D to tell you that Dove eats loaves of bread instead of meals for their meals in real life, and they need to stop and they need to eat actual food. Bread is not a meal, Devin.
Shut
Oh
up.
no.
Bread isn't a meal, but bread is a main course.
No, it's not.
That is inaccurate.
You need more than carbohydrates, man.
And then after ordering is gonna turn to Hawk again. I'm talking to Hawk a lot this morning. Huh.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
up with that, huh?
Are you
want to hear wedding
conspiring?
bells?
They
I
room
can see
together,
what's
and you know.
And they don't have a clue.
Who?
I have no clues.
They were roommates.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
I can't do anything in this house. And then say, I'm not that hungry either.
Understandable.
And then Celia comes back a minute later with a loaf of bread.
Yay!
Well, I seem to remember that I was not the only one interested in doing research at the archives today.
Oh, is that where you're going?
Well, that was my destination. I don't know what everyone else's was.
I believe you
Tobias.
wanted to go as well.
I believe so, yeah. And Tobias, you said you had an errand to run, right?
I did that yesterday. It
Was getting
to
the leather,
blacksmith.
right?
Yeah.
You said you needed paper, right? A bit of a long shot, but do you suppose they would sell those at the archives? I know it's not quite a bookstore or anything, but...
Paper. And B produces just a bunch of paper from in her bag. She has some.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, well then.
He comes prepared. And yes, I am actually punching my fist against the table.
Mhm.
Yeah, but did you break your hand in doing that?
Too soon.
Oh,
I'm not like raging. This isn't like a reckless attack.
he's not rolling with advantage. Jeez.
Mhm.
Roll with advantage against breaking the table, with disadvantage against the table breaking you.
You hit the table so hard it flips up and smacks you in the face.
Woo!
You take 6 damage.
Ruby moods.
But does everyone else who had also been sitting at the table take 6 damage?
Better question: is this actually happening?
No, this
Okay,
is-
good.
No.
Just making
Just
sure.
everyone else sitting at the table end up with little like egg and bacon faces.
Sure.
Why not?
Anyway,
So, sounds like that's the plan then. Bathhouse and then the archives.
Seems like it.
That's my plan.
yeah, that does seem like what we're doing.
All right. So
Demir is going to kind of sit down over by B and Levy and just like, it'll be fun. The baths are really nice. They're warm. You can get a massage, get your hair washed, or your feathers preened. It'll be great.
That does sound rather a little something extra.
Cost?
Demir ends up actually like kind of. She keeps end up like looking over at Lish and like staring at him like with this like frown, and then like trying to look away, but then she ends up staring again.
You better not try anything.
He's just like leaning his hip against something, standing, waiting for everybody to be done, just kind of like casually combing his fingers through his hair, trying to get tangles out to the best of his ability.
Right. Hawk doesn't continue past that. He's like, I want to say there's visibly like gears turning in his head, but like probably not.
all right. So you guys all head off to the bathhouse.
Sound.
I
Doesn't
suppose.
sound like we have any more business here, so probably.
All right.
We will hold Demir's hand.
And then, aww. And then as we're heading out, I'm gonna approach Demir and B. Like, Demir, can I talk to you for a second? Sorry, B.
Yeah, sure. I'll catch up with you, B.
B's just whatever you have to say, you can say in front of both.
He will do a little. You know how chickens walk, where they'll take a step and they'll bob their head forward.
Yeah.
He will do a little chicken trot up forward to. I guess Lish would be in front.
Hmm. You gonna hold my hand?
If she can reach it.
It's not that small.
But is Lish that tall?
I mean,
I
how
actually
tall
don't
do you
know.
think Lish is?
I don't know. Like, he's an elf, and those
Oh.
are usually kind of tall, right?
I mean, but he's not an Azamar.
Fucking Goliath.
sure?
He will
That
he will
depends.
look incredulous and like
It's like the
Are you
friggin'
gonna
like,
hold your arm out?
It's like the
tentatively
friggin',
hold up her hand. Yeah.
just like the friggin'
He,
5'11"
he'll offer
versus 6'3"
the he'll offer the crook of
Lish.
his arm to you to hold on to.
He will take it cautiously.
Question: how tall is Lish actually?
I mean, he's been kind of like around 6'1" ish. Like he's pretty tall, but I guess
Okay.
I didn't consider
not like
like
a
elves
Goliath
are
or
slightly
anything.
taller, but
It depends on whether or not we're including flowers.
yeah, then the spikes.
They
Well, I
only
just
have
wanted to-
2 inches or so.
Check
He's
for
around, like,
accuracy
6'1"-ish.
reasons. Okay, just wanted to check for accuracy reasons and stuff, you know.
Do
Makes
the
sense.
tips of his ears count for his height?
Only when
I thought
he's
that was
very
going out to the
surprised.
side.
Are they emotive?
He is like
They are.
5
could be.
foot 0, so you're about a foot taller than B.
That's fine.
Tobias
Okay,
is
okay.
6'5",
That'll
so
work.
Lish is only 4 inches smaller than me.
Wait, Tobias is 6'5"?
Yeah. I designed Tobias to be fucking tall, my dude.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
The
Damn.
He's
tallest
a
guy.
beanpole.
I think he's the
Anyways,
tallest guy in the
Height
party.
Light breeze can knock him over.
Right,
heights
anyway.
aside,
Yeah. Demir and Aaron, we're gonna have a thing.
And then, you know, Aaron's been very, very cheerful all morning. And just the minute he has Demir by himself, his face just hardens. He just stares at her very directly.
Stares back.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
She just stares back.
Gotcha. We accept
Have you made
anyone
up
who
your mind?
We accept anyone who surrenders, and I will personally guarantee their safety. And then he just breaks away and just starts marching back to the group.
Okay then.
You will
And
look up at Lish and kind of like squint, like not in an aggressive way, just like a what are you thinking kind of face, like.
Did we hear that? I mean, if they fell back.
I don't think so.
I'd
assume-
assume they'd wait for enough distance
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
and the party to have like a private conversation, even though
Yeah.
it's only 1 or 2 sentences long.
I mean, Lish kind of looks down at her and kind of raises a brow and gives kind of a cavalier smile, like, yes.
I'm
Demir
sort of
feels-
just like chilling in the middle back of the party if anyone feels like they need to bug him.
Looming
You're
from
gonna
about
be-
30 feet back.
Not 30 feet back.
If you're going to be like paying attention to Aaron's face as he leaves, the minute he makes eye contact, like he does return to his friendly face, but you do not get the impression that he's currently like mad or anything under that. It's definitely performative, but he's not mad at you. As far as you can tell.
Mad at who? Demir? Or
Demir, yeah.
get good, my man.
Demir is going to make her way back up to B.
Aaron noticing that is, I don't know, probably gonna go hang with Hawk.
Buzzing.
Yeah, Fia's just
Why not?
gonna just start buzzing chipperly at Demir when she approaches.
Like a bee?
Yes.
A chipper buzz, huh? Never heard of that.
The hive is glowing this morning.
Dang. If there's nothing else, I guess you better arrive at the bathhouse soon, right?
yeah. So the bathhouse is close towards the outer wall of town. It's in the residential district, as pointed out to you by Ink the day before. It's an interesting sort of building. It in real life, it would be maybe described as sort of a odd cross between like Viking and Japanese style in architecture. And out front, there's a sign hanging from a post that has a picture of a what seems to be sort of like a dragon curled around some stones, and it in kind of loopy script above the picture, it says Misty Stones.
Well, Demir's going to go in.
Anyone's gonna look to Hawk and to see what Hawk's doing.
He's just standing there currently.
Aaron will continue standing there with Hawk.
Tobias kind of looks at the place nervously, still kind of debating with himself, before eventually, like, slowly following after Demir.
It'll be great fun.
I'm leading B in if B wants to go. So
B will follow.
Yeah.
I just have a mental image of like Lish on one side and Demir on the other, just like
Basically.
child
Yeah.
throwing B.
Honestly, that's what I was picturing too.
That's great.
Child. I love it.
So for those of you heading in, you all right there, Devin?
Panicking.
Sounds like he nearly fell out of his chair, but I wasn't looking.
Yeah, I'm all right. I just technical difficulties.
I see.
So for those of you that are heading in, first thing you see is a counter. There's the counter in the center of the room, and then there are two doorways on either side of it. And standing behind the counter is kind of an older human man. I'd say like late 50s, early 60s. He's old enough that he's got some weathering to his face and some gray in his hair, and he's currently bookkeeping, but he looks up at you guys as you enter and says, "Yes, how can I help you?"
Well, I think we need some bath tickets.
All right, have you been here before? And he kind of like looks with his glasses. I don't think I've seen you here before. Do you want me to describe the baths for you? You don't look like you're from in town.
Would you like to view the bath minigame tutorial?
Certainly.
So it's 5 silver pieces per day for the public baths. That's more of a larger sort of bath. That's open to any who decide to come in. There are the private baths, which are under the building itself, which have bathhouse drakes in them. And kind of looks over at you all, and he's like, one should be large enough for each of you, if for all of you, I suppose, if you're into that sort of thing. Otherwise, either way, it's 1 gold piece for the private bath. Whether you decide to go alone or not, that's up to you.
Are they
Enough?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Enough?
And he looks at Bean, shifts his glasses again. Enough for what?
Enough room?
Each.
Potentially. How many are there of you? It counts. Like,
Those who didn't come inside are Tobias.
Tobias came in.
Tobias went in.
Oh, okay,
It's
Tobias
just
came in.
Aaron and Hawk out there.
Oh, okay.
yes, there
Awkwardly
should.
standing outside.
Which means Levy's probably with the group inside.
Yes, yes. Yes, it's early enough in the day that you will be able to have one each, I suppose.
Drake?
Yes, we employ Bathhouse Drakes here.
I am
They're
intrigued.
harmless, though. Don't worry.
I am intrigued. B, do you want to split a bath?
Okay.
Well, B and Levy, do you guys want to split a bath? I should offer.
Okay.
Levy nods. She's, sure. I'll split a bath with you.
All right. I will put down 1 gold piece.
And gentlemen, anything else for you? Are you planning on sharing, or are you going to... There are the public baths, of course. There's only a few people here so far.
Lish kind of...
What a threatening statement.
Lish kind of has a bit of a smile at that, kind of glances at Tobias, says that he I hadn't really thought about a private room. I would be fine with the public.
Okay, so if you're going to be in the public, that will be 5 silver pieces to last you the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's me settled. But for those without bodies, kind of pokes Tobias in the chest and kind of looks out the door towards Hawk and Aaron. And for those without faces, it seems that there's options for you as well.
Tobias, after when Lish pokes him in the chest, his gaze changes from his nervous and uncomfortable expression to a little more hardened as he evenly stares back at Lish before oddly calm and without tremble in his hands, walks up to the bathhouse counter and places down 5 silver.
Very well done.
Yay!
Woo!
We got a brave man in the house today.
Bathhouse adventure!
When you start saying that, you can see like Tobias's face starting to pale. He's externally, you can tell externally he's trying to keep it together, but you can tell just by the fact that his face is paling and his eyes are just deep regret.
Instant fucking regret. A moment of courage followed by instant regret.
Mood.
Lish looks a little surprised, honestly. Pleasantly so.
So the man at the counter, he picks up a bell and rings it, and a couple of bathhouse attendants come out, and the counterman explains to them that the ladies are all going to share a private bath, and the guys are going to go to the public bath. And Aaron and Hawk are just chilling outside.
Yep, Hawk might have even stepped to the side once Lish called him out.
Okay, so I'll touch on you guys in a minute if you want to do anything, but for now, Tobias and Lish, one of the bathhouse attendants leads you to the doorway to the left, and it takes you to sort of for lack of a better word, a locker room if you want to get change in here.
What is the vibes of this place? Is it a towel on, towel off kind of place, or?
That is completely up to you.
Oh, goody.
I mean, you
dear.
can. I'll tell you what. Roll insight.
World insight
Let's
on.
actually pull up my character sheet. That'd be a good thing.
Just roll
Ah,
first.
crap.
Look,
I'm gonna roll insight as well.
happen.
Insight,
I mean-
where is it?
Instinct says that he doesn't care, so either way. Is it insight? That's a 15 for me.
15. And Tobias, what did you get?
Hold on, it's not letting me roll because I was on Safari because I was trying to mitigate my computer's heat.
How dare you use Safari instead of the dedicated Roll20 client that you have to pay for?
I don't know if that actually exists, but I wouldn't disbelieve it.
Okay, now it should.
Wizards of the Coast released their own browser. Yeah.
21! Natural 20.
20.
All right.
Nice.
Good jobs.
So, big part of you guys both get the impression that, at least for the public baths, it's sort of an anything goes sort of thing. Don't harass other customers, and you won't be thrown out. If you want to
Define
do
harass.
this dick out, you can. Otherwise, if you want to keep your underwear on, also fine.
Says I'm
Toddy's
wearing
out.
underwear.
Goddamn.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see.
If you want to do this Molly Mock style with just wearing a tapestry.
I'd have to get a tapestry.
Roll to
first.
find a suitable tapestry.
I own
Use a
nothing.
towel, close enough.
Tobias he's gonna face, you can see him kind of moving kind of awkwardly, like trying to wonder how to position himself, because he wants to give Lish privacy for when Lish changes, but you can tell he also doesn't want Lish to like see him. Till eventually he just kind of settles for
Just give up.
well, he removes clothes and armor and stuff, but he keeps his cloak while unfastened over his shoulders, so he's like kind of covered until like he reaches out, grabs the
Modesty
towel and
towel.
stuff. Yeah, he has a towel for his waist, and then he has the cloak around his shoulders and stuff, and he looks to Lish, and or like he's gonna kind of like keep to the eyes to the floor and stuff, but like turn a little towards Lish, and ask like, "Are you ready?"
Are you done changing? He looks the same with the cloak. You're gonna get in the bathhouse with your clothes on still.
And he just like gives a small voice. Yes.
You're going to get into the bath with your cloak on.
There are towels available in this room if you want to grab them. They're in a small basket near the door.
Oh, smart move.
And he kind of he sees that, like, he grabbed one for his voice and stuff, but then he looks towards him again, looks towards Lish, and he says, "I need you to look away."
Okay.
Do you look away?
Not for a moment. And then he does.
When he does, Tobias immediately drops, or like he immediately reaches for a towel as quick as he can, and then you hear the thump of his cloak falling to the ground as he quickly like wraps the towel over his shoulders. Does Lish turn around when he hears the cloak drop, or?
Can I turn around now that you're done hiding whatever you're trying to hide, you realize I don't actually care if you have some kind of something. I have friends that are far worse than anything you could be.
Tobias' face is like a little.
Also, Lish is like naked. Like he doesn't even fucking care. He doesn't have a towel.
As I thought.
So he's like leaning up against a locker, kind of waiting for you to give him
Tobias.
the go ahead to turn around.
Less lockers, more cubby holes.
Well, leaning up against
Something.
You hear like Tobias is quiet for a few moments before eventually quietly saying, "All right, you can turn around." And when Lish turns around, he will see Tobias kind of sheepishly pulling the towel that he had wrapped around his shoulders. So he's only in a towel around his waist. His face is red and you can tell he's trembling again, or the tremor's back. But you can tell that he's a mixture of nervous / trying to find confidence within himself. But Lish's words did affect him in some way.
Okay.
What Lish sees is a very visible bite mark scarred on his left shoulder, like something had grabbed him and bit deep. And while Tobias is still slightly turned away, Lish can see two massive scars on his back where his shoulder blades are, as if someone just took a divot of flesh.
It's a big bite and then down the back like claw marks.
No, it's literally like, the only way I can describe it is if it's like a chunk is removed. So it doesn't look like claw marks. It's just like flesh has been.
Shark went at it on your shoulder. Big shark chunk, but wolf. Or monster-esque.
Yeah, there's a bite mark on the shoulder and then just like two divots in the back of the shoulder. I'll provide a visual for it later.
References.
Yeah, I'll definitely do a reference for it later. After this turn around, Tobias will quietly say, "I would appreciate it if you kept this between us."
Is it a secret?
I'm not ready to share something like this yet.
Avery, do I recognize anything like this? Have I seen anything like this before? From monsters that I've encountered or otherwise?
Roll Arcana or Nature. It's up to you.
Which one's higher? Not Nature. That's not bad. That is a non-natural 20.
No, natural 20. Okay. Here, I'll tell you what. I'll type. Yeah.
You're gonna whisper it to me.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not actually gonna do breakout rooms because I don't know how to do that.
Whispers. Cool.
So at this point, with Tobias and Towel and Lish super naked, the bathroom attendant leads you into another area. This one, it's sort of interesting. Picture kind of like a public pool, but made out of stone. It looks like on the far wall there's something of a waterfall pouring into it, but the water itself, it's clearly very like mineral rich. If you've ever been to a hot spring, how the water isn't clear, it's more opaque, which is lucky because there are a couple of people in here and you don't know if they're naked or not, and you don't want to find out necessarily.
Or do.
But yeah, there's large kind of pool-like area. It is not too deep, but deep enough to sit in without getting your head under.
You kind of like get in like a little swimming pool. You get into your neck.
Yeah, it's like the shallow end of a swimming pool. And then there's little ridges for you to sit on. Yeah, it's warm and it's comfortable and it feels great. You can feel the minerals.
I was kind of thinking, like my personal like envisionment of this is just like, you know, as you said, like a stone swimming pool, but like instead of a swimming pool, it's just all like the little hot tub section, just like repeated, or something like that.
Hot tub section, but big.
Yes, precisely. Like I'm thinking just like imagine if the entire swimming pool was the hot tub.
Yeah. If you wanted the actual hot tub, you should have gotten the private bath.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the ladies. So the bathroom attendant leads you to the door on the right. And it actually is a staircase leading downwards. And she takes you to one of the there's this hall with a few doors on each side, and she takes the key to one of the doors and unlocks it. And when you head inside, at first glance, it looks kind of like a hot spring in a cave. There's water flowing in, from the wall into a steaming pool. It's sort of like above for the public baths, but the floor is mossy and soft so that you can stand on it comfortably barefoot. The walls are stone and there's steam rising from the surface of the pool. Within reach of the edge of the pool, there are a multitude of different jars and bowls with different soaps inside. Mostly they're floral scents, but there are a few citrusy ones too. There's a wooden stool against the wall to the side of the door, with a few fluffy white towels stacked on top of it, and it looks like it was added kind of as an afterthought. And above the waterfall, there is an oddly kind of like hexagonal hole. If you would just picture kind of like a beehive sort of deal. There's a hole above it, and the bath attendant says, "I will be waiting outside if you need any assistance." Once you're all inside, shuts the door behind her so that you can have privacy. And the pool itself is large enough for multiple people to get in at once, but at the same time, it's much nicer than the public baths upstairs.
Is there a drake visible?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, where's the Drake?
Actually, as the bathroom attendant shuts the door, you hear kind of a odd little scratching sound inside of the hexagonal hole up above the waterfall, and a little head pokes out. It's about the size of a cat. Looks like this. He's blue, with little kind of ridges that are pink, and looking at it, it's kind of odd because you know how things get kind of shiny when they look soapy.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's soapy. And he looks at you guys, then takes a deep breath and blows out some steam, and it's kind of giving like a sauna effect in the room.
Cool.
Demir is going to, switching to her native tongue, just, oh, aren't you so cute? Look at you, you delightful little creature. And I'm going, just kind of like cooing at it a little bit. I'm going to go over to it like, oh, look at you, you're so cute. I'm going to reach out to try and like scratch its chin a little. Does it pull back or look uncomfortable?
Roll persuasion.
All right. Let me check. All right. 14.
Okay, so it can't understand what you're saying in your native language, of course, but it can't understand your tone, and it says in common, "Please do not patronize me." And then when you start scratching it, he like it does the cat thing where it leans into the touch.
A little man.
And he is soapy. It feels like you're touching really soapy scales.
Oh. Kind of remembering herself and switching back to common, just like, I'm so sorry, you are a very beautiful and delightful looking creature.
And he kind of draws himself up and
Delightful.
You're a very pretty little dragon. Yes, you are.
Thank you for heating our bath for us.
Of course, if you need more steam, I can do so. And he kind of retreats back into his hole a little bit. And meanwhile, Levy is just kind of like gushing in Draconic to him.
Yes.
So once he has retreated into his hole, Demir is going to get undressed for the bath.
All right.
And once she takes off her like gloves and kind of whatchamacallit, like arm braces, is that what they're called?
Van braces.
Van braces,
yeah. You can see that her left hand, there is a like glittering white Mendy like tattoo on her hand. I have pictures that I will share later. In like this kind of spiraling floral and kind of like icicle shape. And she is also pretty well covered in some bruises and hickeys.
Yeah, Lish too.
Yeah, she's and freckles. She has freckles.
Oh, the freckles!
Yeah, freckles on her shoulders and her knees. It's great.
Freckles for days.
Yeah. And she's just going to get into the bath. Like, no shyness, no shame, just kind of, yeah.
So
It's a bathhouse. This is what you do.
stepping into the pool, the stone floor is smooth and the water is warm, but not unpleasantly. So there is a shelf kind of ringing the side of it, so that you could sit down in the water if you wanted. Although if you move towards the center of the pool, it gets deeper, so that you could potentially be fully submerged if you wanted. It feels really nice.
I'm just going to sit on the side and kind of like relax into the water and, stretch out my legs and my toes a little and all that stuff.
As we kind of move around in this room, B is going to be kind of like swirling, just drawing a claw through the steam in the air and kind of swirling it around. And after she's been doing this for a while, you can kind of tell that she's kind of using air currents to push the steam into the shape of the little cloud that she has painted on her breastplate. Like it's got a little tail and then a little swirl, and then it's a cloud. And so she's taking the steam and just going with it, so it kind of looks like that pattern. And she will go into the corner and just quickly take her armor off. She's covered in feathers, so still not particularly naked, but she'll just quickly and discreetly take off the clothes she's wearing and put them in a neat pile in the corner, and then go over to the water and like dip a toe in and then kind of slide in, making as little of a splash as possible. And she'll go down and kind of scrunch so that she's just kind of poking out of the water.
Delightful.
Something bird bath.
Levy is going to take off her outer clothes, and she seems kind of uncertain of what to do, but she's going to roll up her sleeves and then roll up her pants legs and then sit on the moss at the edge of the pool and dip her feet in.
Are you not getting in the bath?
Not yet. I don't think. Maybe in a little bit.
There's nothing you have that I haven't seen. We're both girls. We're all girls here.
I mean, your wisdom isn't too bad. You kind of notice that you get the impression that she's staying out so that she could try and maybe catch a glimpse of the bathhouse drake again. She's like,
cute.
Adorable.
I just want to say that, out of curiosity, I did look up to see if there was a stat spread thing, and oh my god, I love them. I'm so glad that you have included this, because now I need to tell everyone that bathhouse drakes exist.
Look, I have a couple of these. I've got this green one and then a red one, and there's some pretty fun stuff in here.
I don't doubt it.
And I saw this and I'm like,
I need to include this.
Bee's got a pretty high wisdom too. Would she notice this as well?
Yeah. You can tell that Levy she's making no effort to hide it. She is delighted by the existence of the bathhouse drake.
Bee will go to try and get Levy's attention, and then she will cast thaumaturgy to try and swirl the steam into the shape of a little dragon flying around.
I'm gonna say, for the sake of this, roll performance.
All right.
He is so talented.
Master of the mists.
For that, I'm gonna roll terribly.
Oh, I mean that's
Let's
just
see.
how it goes.
Oh, actually, I got a 17.
Actually,
17? Yeah. Although this isn't really the intended use of thaumaturgy, you're feeling pretty confident about your artistic ability right now, and you're sort of able to make something that is recognizable as a drake. And Levy, like,
Love this.
and the bathhouse drake kind of pokes his nose out and looks at it and takes another deep breath and blows more steam into the room. Your man retreats back in.
He will say in Tobias's voice, "Thank you kindly."
If you need any more heated water, let me know.
This is perfect.
B is going to bounce. B is also very delighted by the drake.
Who wouldn't be?
I am. This was well worth the gold.
He's just doing his job and he's hanging out. Yeah.
I love him so much.
And like the steam from his breath, it feels really good. It's very moisturizing.
Yeah. So after a little bit of relaxing, Demir is probably going to, go about cleaning cleaning herself up, getting some of that road dirt out from behind her ear and that type of stuff. Like she's been to bathhouses before, so she knows the deal, getting all the dirt out from under her. Oh my god! I just noticed the dragon you have, Ashley. That's amazing.
Thank you. I figure his wings probably look a little like the drake's.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, so cute.
Great.
Yeah, just kind of getting clean.
It's a bathhouse. It's what you do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Any conversations anyone wants to have? Lish, I assume you're just hanging out with Tobias. Tobias, you're avoiding the other people, I guess.
Something tells me there's not going to be a lot of conversation between those two.
Oddly enough, Tobias is sitting near Lish, not like, right near, obviously, giving respectable space. So
I mean, they are feet apart because they're not gay, but
well, I say more personal space, not to be intruding on a bubble, but
What bubble?
Oh no.
But after the whole ordeal with entering the bath and stuff, like Tobias, oddly enough, actually seems a little more calm, especially after getting into the water and just kind of enjoying how warm it feels. And Lish kind of watches him, all 6'5" of himself, sinks in, sits there for a little bit, and then just lets out a sigh and continues to sink down even further until his head is almost under, he stops kind of just, his shoulders are just barely under the water and stuff, and he's just kind of laying his head back against the rock, eyes closed. It almost looks like he might fall asleep there with how comfortable he's starting
Just
to
had a
seem.
really great image that Tobias is so tall that even if he's sitting down, his knees are still poking out of the water. Too tall.
They could.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Lish looked a little bit uncomfortable before getting into the hot tub. He looked a little cold, and getting into the water seemed really good. He let all the flowers fall out of his hair, so now there's flowers
That was
just
just
floating
Aw.
in the water.
As one floats by, Tobias kind of opens an eye and watches it, and then lightly blows on it to watch it drift and spin.
It's really nice, delicate little flowers. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like Lish is kind of more, he's definitely kind of treating it a little bit like a swimming pool, not just a sitting area. He's definitely like moving around a bit. Because this, how big is this like pool of water? It's like decent size.
It's decent sized, yeah.
Water fight, water fight.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple meters between you guys and the other people in there, and you can see it's early enough in the morning that it's not crowded. There's a human man there, and he's got kind of a big belly, and he's kind of just floating on his back a little bit, so it looks like that his face is an island, and then his belly's another island, and then there's another lady in there who's she's buck naked except for a towel on her hair, and she's kind of leaning on the side, kind of flipping through a book casually. So, you know.
Lish's minding his own business as far as those people are concerned, but he'll kind of go and swim the length of the water and see what kind of, they have like bath products available. He'll probably try.
They do, but they're not as fancy as the ones down below. They're kind of just the generic public pool shower soaps and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he'll kind of go back over to where Tobias is, you know, keeping his distance because it doesn't seem like Tobias wants to be bothered. And he'll kind of look like he's struggling a bit, trying to wash his hair. he's doing what he can, but he
is
does
not used to having to do his own hair care. This is
peasant's work.
I mean, yeah, he very much looks like he's a little out of his, like he's okay, but it's like not quite.
Tobias kind of sits up after seeing Lish struggle a bit, and he offers, do you need any help?
Do you know how to brush hair? Well, you do have quite a bit of your own.
Tobias actually kind of laughs at that.
Do you ever brush your own hair?
I do, yes. I can assist.
Lish kind of swims over to you.
Tobias will help him with washing and cleaning his hair out.
She is very patient
to this kind of treatment.
His hair is really nice. It's very well taken care of. But he kind of grumbles to you a little bit as you do his hair, and he's just like, I can't wait for the pixies to get back. Just a little like petty moaning.
He actually manages to get a couple of laughs out of Tobias. Finds it humorous.
That's awesome.
Have you never really done this yourself?
I haven't ever needed to.
Fair enough.
Plus, the pixies are far better at it than I am.
Are they the ones who are able to make it look the way it does?
Little bit of this, little bit of that. The flowers are mine. The ice is mine.
Where does that come from?
Where does it come from? I make it happen. He kind of pools some water in his hands and lets the water fall out, and just his hands are overflowing with flowers that just kind of bubble up from the water, and he just kind of like lets them go.
Tobias looks very intrigued, almost amazed, and curious at like watching the flowers
Is this man a walking flower shop?
So
More or less.
What else are druids for?
I mean, true.
so it just happens. I don't know much about magic myself. But
well, it certainly happens, but it comes from the forests, the natural magic that's in your world.
Are you not from this world?
Lately, I have been.
Thus.
Tobias kind of takes a moment to just like gently running his fingers through Lish's hair, kind of like just feeling how it feels, the texture of it, and how smoothly he can run his hand through it.
Get that real good, like Olaplex sort of straightness.
One of the flowers that was kind of released into the pool found its way into the to the human man's belly button, and he's kind of falling asleep at this point. By the way,
It's like an old man with a sunflower just resting on his stomach.
Yeah.
Glorious.
Couple are floating towards the way of the naked lady, and she picks one up and kind of looks at this hair display that's happening over there, shrugs, tucks the flower behind her ear, and goes back to her book.
Good.
Yeah. Lish kind of pulls his hair over his shoulder, kind of inspects the work a little bit, and kind of makes a noise of approval. And turns to kind of look at you far closer than we had been before, and kind of looks at your shoulder, just kind of passive, mildly curious. And how about you? Where did you earn this trophy?
He opens his mouth a few times, but no sound manages to come out. Eventually, he just kind of settles for briefly, like breaking eye contact, looking away, and stuttering out. A long time ago, I was a stupid boy.
How long ago?
And Lish can see his hands, the tremor in his hands is starting to come back again as his body becomes more tense. Shit, how old am I? Try to do the math in my head.
It seems a little bit like he's teasing, just a little bit like, how old were you when you were a young, foolish boy? Because as far as I can see, you might still be a little young. He's like trying to like de-intensify it. Like he's very much like, not being very intense, trying to keep things casual.
I don't know. Maybe 10? Or was it 12? I can at least say it was probably over a decade.
So like it was yesterday then?
Yeah. It feels like that. Tobias reaches for a moment, running his fingers along the scar. And when he glances down to it, he quietly tells Lish, I will admit that I feel some guilt in my reactions towards you. It's not your fault that I feel this way.
No, I don't think you should feel guilty. Like I said, you're smart. You have good instincts.
Does that mean you won't bite me?
I don't see why I should. Unless you want me to. Do I look like some kind of rabid animal to you?
No. I feel the few battles that we've spent together have helped to disperse that assumption.
Well, if you ever need a matching set, balance you out a little bit, you can always come to me, you know, but I don't think it's necessary.
Thank you. And Tobias he appears a little lighter now, like some weight has been lifted from his shoulders, and has a little bit of a smile. God, it's getting fucking gay in here.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Lish will ask if you want some help combing through your hair. And otherwise, if Tobias says no, he will kick off and he will go float.
Rejoin his jellyfish brethren.
He's got to get 6 feet apart, otherwise they're going to get real gay up in here. Oh, God.
Gonna.
Erin and Hawk, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Kicking stones.
Hawk's content to just like chill outside, really. Just leaning against a wall.
It's
Guys,
gonna.
enjoying the hot tub party.
There's lots to do in the city. You could explore, you could go back to the market.
Yeah, but at the same time, it'd be rude to just leave without telling anyone where we're going.
Be in there.
And
I mean,
gonna.
if we leave, you guys have no idea of knowing where we're gonna go.
That's true. Yeah, and it's gonna be like, well, what'd you like to do? It'd say there are privates. If you don't, it's understandable if you don't want to do that, and then we could go somewhere else. I'm
mostly curious why you didn't go inside, honestly.
I'd also rather not take off my clothes with this group yet.
I see. I won't ask why. I'm sure you have your reasons, and it'd be, well, hypocritical of me to gouge you for answers without giving my own.
I'm just gonna nod thankfully.
This might also be a little bit of a personal question, but I did hear you muttering last night.
Yeah. Oh, did I was I keeping you up at all?
Oh, no. I'm a very I wouldn't say a heavy sleeper, but I can sleep well when I need to.
That's good. Had some stuff that I needed to work out that I couldn't fully work out on my own. Yeah. We got into a few scrapes before getting here. You might have gotten that impression. And
Yes, the wilds here aren't very kind to strangers.
yeah. And I'm well, I suppose at this point I'm not entirely comfortable with how I acted then. Yeah. I've had some things to think about recently.
Like I sort of hinted at, I suppose. You don't need to share these if you don't want to, but as stoic as I may seem, if you feel like you need to talk about it.
Thanks. Well,
have you seen much of the city yet? I come here quite often between hunts to sell game.
Oh.
No luck this time, unfortunately, but...
It is unfortunate. Nice. Yeah, no. We just got here yesterday. Got a tour, but haven't really gone in anywhere.
Was there anywhere that caught your eye? I wouldn't mind going there with you.
Oh, you know, I don't think I can think of it anywhere. I was mostly just keeping an eye out for the places that that other people needed to go to. But I mean, do you have any suggestions?
Well, most of the marketplaces I visit are a little unassuming, but there is one stall I've been meaning to check out.
And at that, Aaron's gonna stick out his arm. By all means.
Of course.
Yay!
Hawk pushes himself off of the wall he's leaning on with his elbows and just immediately starts walking. It's over this way.
Gonna start walking there.
Don't let Hawk take you to a secondary location.
I will so let Hawk take me to a secondary location.
Wait. Hold up a second. Hold up. Wait. The rest of the group doesn't trust me very clearly.
We've known you for less than a day. Less than a day.
You get that impression.
How would you feel if someone encountered you at the grocery store and handed you a picture of yourself and said that they were gonna follow you now?
Right? Actually,
they probably would not take it very kindly if I took you off somewhere. Should we wait? Should we let them know that we're leaving?
Give me a sec, and then I'm going to disengage from Hawk and walk into the establishment up to the counter guy. How long has it been?
At this point, probably not too long since we haven't checked in with you guys.
All right. In that case, I'm gonna approach him like, do you remember my party? They were in here a bit earlier. Elf with some flowers, bird person.
Yes, I do. Did you wish to join them?
I think I'm gonna be good. But if you see them come out, could you tell them that I went off with our mutual friend? And then I'm going to debate for a second and say willingly.
I see. Okay.
And that I will, if I don't see them, could you tell them that I'll just meet them tonight where we've been staying?
Very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, he thinks you're in a sex cult.
You know what? That is totally fine. And I'm going to give him a copper, and I'm just going to put a copper piece on the counter and walk out.
He's like, you know, I see a lot of weirdos in this. I don't care. I'll take the money though. You gave him like a penny, by the way.
I am fully aware.
Okay. I just wanted you to know that. Anyway.
And
so
then I'm gonna rejoin Hawk.
Where are you guys heading?
Hawk's gonna lead Aaron to the marketplace. And I don't remember your description of the marketplace actually. I know that there was like magic shop, but
there are a couple places of note within the area. There's the magic shop, which is run by that satyr. There are a whole bunch of different stalls. There's a circus tent that kind of dilapidated that serves as a potion shop. Depends on what you're looking for. You'll probably be able to find it. If you're looking for drugs, you'd probably want to move closer to the docks.
Hawk looks around for a bit and he goes, right, over here. And he points out the circus tent.
Okay.
Very, very strange for a merchant stall, don't you think?
All right, let me pull up the description.
I've seen buildings somewhat like this, but it certainly does not seem to be the norm.
Trying to find it. Okay. Among the large area full of different stalls, one tent stands out in particular. Instead of a cabana or stall, there appears to be an old red and white striped circus tent. The tent itself, the canvas, is much larger than the sticks that are currently holding it up, with the edges kind of pooling onto the ground. And as you approach, you can see a sign of a made of fantasy equivalent cardboard that says Midge's Mysterious Mixtures in very crude handwriting, and that's hanging over the tent flaps.
I've never seen this stall before, and I've been meaning to look at it. Honestly doesn't seem the most reputable. But yes. But I don't suppose it's anything we couldn't handle, right?
Quite.
All right, Hawk's gonna peek in.
All right, so peeking inside, there are several rickety shelves with very odd-looking potions on them. The room isn't very large, and you can see like kind of folds of the extra tent space along the edge, and stacking potions on a shelf. At first glance, you think it might be a gnome, perhaps, but she's wearing dress kind of akin to what Belle wears in Beauty and the Beast, curly orange hair. But then when she turns around, you realize that the hair is in fact a wig, and this is a kobold. This is a red kobold wearing a dress with a curly orange wig. She looks stops what she's doing. She stops stacking. When she looks at you guys and scampers up. Yes, how can I help you today?
I love her.
My name's Midge, and she sticks out her hand.
Aaron.
Hello,
take
Midge. This is a potion shop?
It is. I make these potions myself.
All right. Do you mind if I come in, take a look around?
Of course. And she like steps aside and kind of pulls the tent flap and gestures.
Is there anyone else inside the tent right now?
No.
Wow.
Today on going off onto secondary locations with mysterious strangers, so we can go off into secondary locations with mysterious strangers.
Aaron needs to get himself a $20 money clip. Hey, yeah!
Street smarts.
Street smarts!
Aaron's gonna
Follow
get
the bit
himself
and binder
killed.
method.
Okay, Hawk's gonna actually properly step inside and look at some potions. Just like general descriptions of what they look like, perhaps?
So there's lots of well, there's lots of really interesting potions. If you've ever been to a potion shop
I haven't.
before, like, you know generally what you see, but these ones they look kind of odd. There's one that looks like it looks like it's just full of sand, but when you look closer, the sand seems to be actually blowing somehow within the potion. And then there's one that looks kind of like the potion itself is kind of shaped like this, and it is filled with sort of shiny silvery liquid. And then there's one that's more rectangular in shape, that's purple, and it's got a little, oddly, it has kind of a flag sticking out of the cork. And then there's another one that is rather spherical in shape, and there's a bunch of the liquid itself is sloshing around in it, and it looks kind of reminds you of like this the ocean when there is a storm. And then there's another one that's kind of odd. It looks like two puzzle pieces put together, and they both have the same liquid in them, but they're two different bottles stuck together. Then there's one that looks like it might be empty until you look closer, and you can kind of see in the liquid itself almost looks invisible. And it continues on like this, and it just a bunch of really fucking wild stuff. There's one that looks like it has a fish in it. There's one that's green with eyeballs in it. There's one that's red and is bubbling. There's a whole bunch of just fucking wacky potions in here.
Amazing. What does this one do? Hawk points out the one that looks all sandy.
That one, if you take it and throw it on the ground, it will create a desert.
An entire desert.
Well, at least some of a desert. For 12 hours.
Interesting. And
what about this one? The ocean one this time.
Oh, that one is a lot of fun. That creates lightning.
A lightning potion.
Lightning.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Hawk's just gonna like silently browse for a bit while he assumes Aaron's also in the tent. That's a very bold assumption, but
Aaron is going to remain in the tent and also be browsing, yeah. Actually, give me 1 sec. I need to go get my cord.
Alright. It's cord. About how much does a potion that you sell go for? Just curious.
It really depends.
How much for the lightning one?
Oh, lightning, let's see.
Does some quick math in the head. Let me pull out my guide just to make sure.
Oh, cool. So I'm not getting scammed yet.
I mean,
Listen, for all I know, she could have just like electrified water and gone potion.
You don't know that that's not what it is, but she'll still charge.
Hey, only one way to find out.
Charge by the book.
she's a crazy kobold lady that makes potions.
Is it just one kobold, or are there like more kind of kobolds
No.
writhing around down there?
I have a feeling if it was kobolds, we would know by the fact that
Nah,
there's
it's
like
just-
multiple
Just
people.
her and her pretty ugly orange wig.
I love her so much.
I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure we would know if it was kobolds. If it was like a really tall kobold in like a long coat.
I have been silently begging you guys to go to this shop for ages.
Yeah, you like described it to me in DMs at one point. I was like, "Ooh, I really want to check that out." Actually,
And you know, you would actually have interesting places.
I mean, yeah.
That.
Nobody's in here, but you'd think that a certain extent would attract a lot of attention, whether or not they actually want to go in.
Right? At least there'd be like, you could tell where it was because the natural flow of traffic would just bunch up in front of it.
Or like, part around it with like a 6-foot distance from the walls to the people.
Let's say that it costs about as much as a love potion, so about 90 gold.
90, okay.
I worked very hard to put a storm in a bottle.
That does seem difficult.
I agree.
Storms are wild.
Unfortunately, I can't say I have that much.
Hmm.
Do you... What do you have in the, I hate to say this, but cheaper range? I'm not expecting anything amazing for that much. Chalk just like sheepishly pushes his index fingers together.
Well, I have maybe a couple of health potions for 50 gold. Otherwise, there could be some birth control, I guess.
I see.
Today on buying discount birth control.
Oh no.
That does remind me, I need to mark off my thing.
There's Essence of OU, which is 30 gold pieces for 30 vials.
What is that?
Works like it's petals of a special flower, and it can prevent pregnancy if you have a special lady friend.
Ah.
It works like standard in real life birth control pills.
Makes sense. I don't see why I would need those, but
Plan B.
Yeah, Aaron's gonna spare if you happen to be susceptible.
No,
to
no.
pregnancy.
Morning after pill is something else. That's 50 gold pieces.
well, Devin, I think your camera's like cutting out.
Yeah, something's going on with you.
The darkness has taken over his computer.
I can do that too.
Oh no,
Now
Kenzie!
We match.
Oh god, it's taking everyone.
It's solidarity.
I think Aaron has cut out.
Oh boy.
Also, I just want to clarify / make sure, isn't Dev's pronouns they?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, okay. I did not know that. I will keep that in mind.
So do you say you don't think you'd have much use for that? The OU out loud?
No, I do not.
Okay.
this is certainly enlightening. I might have to come back at some point. Perhaps when I can, well, actually afford one of these.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, and as I said, there's just a whole bunch of potions. I can list them out for you if you like.
I mean, I'll be able to afford any of them.
Yeah.
But
just because I had only listed a couple before, but she has a lot more weird ones, but they're all pretty expensive. You get the impression that they are potions of her own design. Some of them could be helpful, some of them could be less helpful.
who knows?
But like the ones I've listed, continuing on, there's there's a vial that's sort of shaped like an O that's yellow. There's a vial that's purple and all with all the purple liquid inside is floating towards the top. It's kind of odd. There's one that's shaped like a high heel shoe that's light blue. There's one that's kind of shaped like a pyramid that's like reddish black. There's a vial that's actually shaped like a spider.
I think at this point, Hawk's just mentally wondering, like, what on earth?
Yeah, there's those things that people make where if you swirl them around, like there's the glitter kind of going around, and
oh yeah, those things.
Yeah, there's one that looks like that. There's one that's kind of dark blue with a bunch of like shiny stars, and it kind of makes you reminded of the night sky. There's just a whole bunch of like fucking weird potions.
I would ask Aaron if he's about ready to leave, perhaps come back another day. We're not gonna come back another day, probably. But he's
need health potions at some point, my dude.
I mean, yes, but
just regular boring ones.
No.
Yeah, has like the like proper potions, but those are the exciting ones that she made are the ones she has on display. The cheapest one she has, other than the birth control, is a regular potion of healing for 50.
I don't have 50.
Not yet,
So,
you don't.
Not yet, I don't.
She's got enough potions too.
Since Devin is currently incapacitated, in a sense, I'm just gonna say, like, I'll have to come back some other day. I'm sure I will.
Oh, all right. Anyone that's interested in potions that can afford my wares, be sure to send them to Midge.
Yes, of course. Aaron, are we good?
We don't have.
We do not. No.
Well, back at the baths.
Agrees. Like, I don't think I can get anything right now. Is there anywhere else you wanted to go before we head back to the bathhouse?
Nothing that came to mind. It's mostly just a bunch of regular stalls here, from what I remember.
Yeah, mostly regular stalls. Just wares. You can buy a fish if you want.
Fresh meat straight from Skyrim's wilds.
Mm-hmm.
All right. we're probably just gonna head back to the bathhouse, and if
Okay.
they're not there,
Were there any other conversations that you guys wanted to have, bathhouse or otherwise?
Well, Demir is going to offer to both Levy and B to like get their back or their hair or whatever, you know. Being a conscientious bath sharer.
conscientious bath sharer. Not a phrase I thought I'd hear today.
Like, do you guys want help with your hair? I mean, I'm not sure Feathers, but do you want help?
B.
He chitters pleasantly and shakes her head.
Okay.
In the bathhouse, Drake emerged a couple times more to fill more steam, and if requested, he did anyone request some more hot water?
I mean, I assume as we're sitting and it's cooling, yeah, keeping the temperature right where it's at.
Yeah. At which point he would climb out slightly, get a little bit closer, take a deep breath, and then shoot out like a stream of water, like hot water, into the pool. And you kind of have to move away from it, because if you stand right in the stream, it is scalding hot.
I am so delighted by this.
While we're soaking, B will give a little sign language lesson just to the ladies who are around. Like she'll gesture at the steam, and she'll do the sign for steam, and she'll point at Demir, and she'll write out Demir in finger spelling, and she'll point to herself, and she'll write out B in finger spelling, and the same, of course, for Levy.
Okay. For the sake of this, Demir, why don't you roll an intelligence check? I'll roll one for Levy too.
Oh, that's not good. That is a 4.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh.
That's
not good.
Yeah, Demir, you're trying, but you're not quite picking up on the you're not picking up on the sign language as much as you'd like to.
I'm trying to sign thank you, and I'm accidentally signing fuck you.
Oh no.
Levy, however, is seeming to get it. She picks up on spelling her name pretty well.
It will go like this.
Levy
At
is
both of
shy, but she's pleased.
At both of them, even though Demir isn't getting it, B is just proud of them for trying.
She's trying.
It's the effort that's important.
I'm like, Demir kind of blushes a little bit, and kind of like, this might be a little awkward, but you were close to him. Did you see bruises on Lish?
Would I have?
Yeah. I mean, even
The man's
holding his
shirt
hand-
is not a shirt.
when you're holding his hand, you had a very clear view of his neck, where there's a nice little hickey right along there.
B will say yes, and also do the sign language for yes.
Yes. Yes.
That is sign language for yes. You just nod with your hand.
Yes. Demir's trying.
I love
Yes.
I'm imagining with like, like the sock puppet hand instead of like a fist. Just like, yeah, like that.
Just phase it in. Phase in the sign language.
Damir's going kind of sit back
Why?
a little.
Wait, whose voice do I have Y in? Let me double check that. Lish. Okay, so in Lish's voice, why?
Oh God.
It's a little. He's never done that before. That sounds weird. I don't. He's not like us. Like any of us. I don't. It's hard to describe, and I don't even think I should. I don't want you guys any more involved in this than you are already.
B will finger spell something. We've been going over finger spelling, which you probably haven't gotten, but B will kind of look at you and just painstakingly spell something out using letters. Which I guess it's up to the DM if you can roll for or whatever.
I'll tell you what. Roll with disadvantage because you got a 4. I'll let Levy roll too, but she doesn't have disadvantage because she rolled a 17.
Fair enough.
That's the 8.
Okay. And that would be a 15 for Levy.
Nice. I don't know what you would have the DC be on that, but
10 probably.
I'm
average
sorry.
because like you guys were going over it.
Fair enough.
Samir
so-
is going to look over at Levy like, did you get that?
And Levy will see. She was mostly facing Demir, so it's a little harder, but she said something approximately, you can trust me, but you don't have to. Or I guess I enunciated that wrong. You can trust me, but you don't have to.
Levy will be like, we'll repeat that kind of nervously, like, did I get that right?
You're really good at this, Levy. It's not that I don't trust you, either of you. Sometimes knowing is worse. He's not what he seems. I mean,
And B will say in the weird old guy from the front desk's voice, private, and nod.
yeah. I'm working on it. Speaking of, it's been a bit, right?
You guys have been in there for a little while.
Getting all wrinkly. Speaking of, we should probably get going. I want to make it to the archives before they close. And Demir will kind of rubbing her left hand a little where the tattoo is, get out of the bath and like kind of get dressed.
All right. Levy's gonna withdraw her legs from the pool, and she's gonna kind of like wiggle her toes, kind of because it's mineral water. She's feeling like how soft they are, and then kind of get dressed again.
B will get out, but will not put her clothes on because she is very wet and her feathers are wet, and she doesn't want to get her clothes also wet.
Oh yeah, I mean, like Demir is getting all dried off with the fluffy
There are towels in the corner. Yeah,
You can't really towel off a bird.
That is true.
You're gonna do the like puff up thing and shake.
I mean, if anyone knows thaumaturgy, they could probably clean off, like dry up a square foot of her at a time, but not thaumaturgy, prestidigitation.
I think Levy would be the only one
Levy
who
knows that one. Yeah.
Yeah, magic hair dryer time.
Seeing how B is reluctant to get dressed, she kind of helps use prestidigitation to help dry her off, and there's little sparkles in the next to the areas that that she cleans and dries.
Once Demir gets all dressed and dried up, she's going to go over to the bath drake and just thank you very much. That was an absolutely lovely bath. And I'm going to give him a silver piece.
Going to look at the silver piece, and he looks kind of surprised that he's being acknowledged. And then he very gently takes it with his teeth and returns back into his hole.
Love him.
I love him.
These creatures are amazing.
Oh, okay.
The book, it says that they're medium, but I thought it would be more fun if they were tiny.
You could say that they're young drakes, probably.
Yeah, but
Or a specific kind.
tiny.
Specific kind specifically for.
I
You
love
have that.
from the stat table, just like the insinuation that a dog-sized like dragons, like they are like medium-ish. Perhaps not the size of a bloodhound, just like that size of dragon is like an entire like cave and horde and consort. Like everyone's treating it with like the greatest respect, but it's like a scaly dog.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is great. I love it.
Okay. So you guys head back out, I assume. Lish and Toby, do you guys head out too?
I spend the rest of my days here in this bathhouse.
Okay.
Sorry,
No,
guys,
we'll get out
campaign's
eventually.
over. It's hot tub
I will
time all
live
the
in this
time.
bathhouse now. Goodbye.
He seems extremely reluctant to leave and get out of the very nice warm bath water out into the cold. Looks very uncomfortable doing so.
Listen, if he stayed any longer, his beast-shaped feature would turn into a raisin-shaped feature.
Tobias probably
California
gets
raisin.
out before Lish, briefly before Lish, like Lish is doing his whole, I don't want to leave.
He is pouting.
I don't want
Tobias,
just 5 more minutes.
he gets out, and when he tells himself, he grabs a couple for Lish and brings it over to the edge of the water and holds it out for Lish.
That's
it's like warm house.
That's so nice. He takes them very thankfully and just bundles himself up in a towel or two before making the long trek back to his clothes. But once he gets dressed, he seems perfectly fine again.
Someone might be glitching out.
Uh-oh.
That Devin?
Seems like Dove.
I heard some weird robot.
Super
noise
big shame that
happening.
they're still having technical
Quite.
difficulties.
Well,
But at least they're not as difficult as they were.
I mean, as long as they can hear us.
Basically.
So as you guys head out of the bathhouse, you guys make your way out of the private area and the public area around the same time. The man at the counter.
We got that like
guys.
perfumed oil in our hair, so that, like, you know, slightly shimmery from the bath.
The man at the counter, whose name you guys have not bothered to ask for, relays Erin's message.
Rude.
But unnecessarily, because by the time you guys head out outside of the building, Erin and Hawk are back from their adventure with Midge and her magical mixtures.
Yet another NPC's name lost to the best sands of time.
F.
F's in chat
Can we
for another
get
question
an
mark,
F in
question
chat
mark,
for the
question
bathhouse
mark.
guy?
It's okay, though. The bathhouse Drake did not have a name.
Aww.
That's
Aw.
the
That's
most
the only
tragic
name I was
news.
interested in.
We should have named him.
I mean, if he had a name, he probably would have been something in Draconic that we couldn't pronounce anyway.
I have actually put thought in this. It's part of his culture, and if you guys had asked for his name, he would have been like, "Oh, you stupid humans thinking that all creatures have names. I don't need a name. I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm Bathhouse Drake. Fuck you."
Oh,
I
little
love
dragon,
that.
that's not how this works.
Oh, you think that
There's plenty of reasons to be wary of
I have a
asking
name?
Everything has a name, my dear.
My inspiration was the cat from Coraline. Hello. Have you come to be involved?
Speaking of
Yeah.
cats,
Cat?
Maybe.
Hello,
there he is.
Mr. Boy.
He's taking over the camera.
Hi, Mr. Friend. I love you.
Oh my god, it's the sun.
Good.
He's here.
Taking over.
What kind of flowers does Tobias like?
Let's find out. Trial by error. Or trial and error.
1 million flowers.
Shit. For right now, I will just pull the same flower that I have for Donamoth, which is irises. Purple
I will
irises.
give you a handful of irises in your hair once we get dressed and dried off. And he will poof his crown of summer back into place.
Like Tobias tentatively like touches the flowers, you know, realizes they're actually there. And it's like he looks like kind of like in awe / wonderment and stuff like, wow. Like, thank you.
Yay.
So
He doesn't mind, right?
You'll have to ask her.
All met back up. What are you guys doing now? Stop eating my dice pack.
We're going to the lobby and seeing if anybody's out.
Yeah. You're going to the archive?
Is that where we're going?
Archives.
All right. So you guys saw the archive the previous day. It's in the Wise District. Large, impressive-looking building with large doors with columns on either side. Multiple floors, and judging from the by the windows that are visible outside. Yeah, the windows themselves though are covered by curtains. Do you guys head inside?
Yes.
Heck
Here.
yeah.
Of course.
All right. So heading inside, it's very impressive looking, like the architecture and whatnot. It as soon as you head inside, there is a desk behind which a half elf stands. And on either side of him, there are a couple of kind of curved staircases leading to a second floor. Both of these floors have a whole bunch of bookshelves and whatnot. And there are a few tables here and there for people to sit and read in books and study if they so desire. The lights aren't all that bright, actually. They're dimmed so as to be courteous to those who are a little more sensitive to the light. And actually, you do see a full-blooded orc sitting at one of the tables reading one of the books. But then there are various citizens of the city or who are visiting the city who have come to the archive. They're looking around at the shelves, and then there are a few people wearing a similar clothes to that of the half elf at the table. And you would figure that these are the librarians, the archivists, perhaps.
Quick question, actually, since I did only join you lot yesterday. What are we looking for here?
Well, I'm looking for something specific. I believe Levy was looking for something specific as well. There's not a goal as much as our own personal research.
I see. Is there any way I could help you find that book?
Demir's going to kind of like gesture to Levy.
Levy says, well, mostly I'm looking for my cousin. But I know that he was doing he was doing research on something. I figured maybe he might have come here. So I was going to ask if he had come through here.
All right. Demir, there's not a specific book you were looking for that I could help locate?
I'm not looking for... I'm looking for a specific topic, not a book, if that makes sense. Are you familiar with this library?
I have come here several times before. I told Aaron that I often sell my game in the markets here, though no luck this past hunt, unfortunately. I'd have come in here on occasion, searching like Levy has, unfortunately, with not much luck. That said, I could help you find books on whatever topic you're pursuing, but I already have a feeling that my help is not welcome.
Not unwelcome, just... Demir is going to kind of look over at Lish
Anna.
Lisha's looking at books.
Just doing his own thing, abandoning his girlfriend.
He's so fucking bored already stepping into this library. It's like fine.
Literal party animal like him has no place in the library.
He experiences history through different means, not books.
Tobias, after their little hangout at the bathhouse and stuff, it's a little more like chill around Lish, and so he might kind of peer over at like what Lish is looking at, kind of curious, like, what? What's he reading?
Lish is like tracing his fingers over spines, not looking for anything in particular.
Demir is going to kind of like lean over to Hawk and just be like, do you know anything about fairies?
Hawk like looks up a little, seemingly pensive, and then looks back at Demir and says quietly, "Only a little."
Well, that's what I'm looking for.
Right. I will get to work looking for books on fairies or the Feywild, or just the Fey in general.
All of it. Any of it.
Right. I will start with Feywild then. And then off he goes.
Demir is going to follow him.
I will say that as you guys start making your way further into the library, one of the people in the white and gold robes kind of approaches you guys, excuse me, is this your first time at the library, the archive?
It's mine.
Okay, well, I must inform you that we do have a couple of rules. Please be courteous of the others visiting the library portion, and please note that only this floor and the second floor are open to the public. You may not visit the rest of the Arcane Athenaeum without explicit permission of the archivist herself.
The restricted section.
The banned book section of Powell's.
What's in the higher archives?
Well, those would be historical records, stuff open for research purposes only, and as well as the living quarters of the archivist.
Okay. Thank you.
We might need access to that, perhaps, so I might ask for that when needed.
Perhaps.
Hawk just sagely nods and then goes back to where he thinks he remembers the Feywild section is.
So you guys can either pick one of you to roll with advantage, or you both can roll independently. Up to you.
For what?
For doing research. That would be investigation.
Investigation. How confident are you in your investigation skill?
Okay.
I'm less confident in my rolling ability. Let's put it that way.
All right, sure. If you're feeling confident about your rolls, which I never am, do you want to do the advantage, or should we just both roll?
I will take your advantage.
Cool.
That is a 17.
17. Okay. So you managed to find a few books. Some of them are fairy tales. Fairy tales, and you take those with a bit of grain of salt, because who knows how accurate they are. They're meant to keep children in line and stuff. You do find a book that strikes your interest about sort of the composition of the planes, including the Feywild. And it's rather odd looking at it to try and describe it. So there's the material plane in the center of everything. And then on top of that, there's the Feywild. And then below that, there's the Shadowfell. And those all lie in the very center. Those, in turn, that kind of sandwich of planes is surrounded by the elemental planes. There's the plane of fire, the plane of water, the plane of earth, and the plane of air.
Long ago, the 4 planes lived in harmony. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then, sort of between those planes, there are the planes where they sort of overlap. So between the plane of earth and water, there's an area where there's lots of mud. There's sort of a mud plane. And then between water and air, I believe, there's the plane of frost. And those are much smaller and can't be really considered proper planes in their own, but they're more like the borderlands between these much larger planes. And of course, those are the ones that are surrounding the sandwich of the material plane, the Feywild, and the Shadowfell. And then beyond that, there's the upper planes, such as heaven, and then the lower planes on top of those, making an even bigger sandwich that are held in the abyss. And then beyond that, there are some sort of echo planes that can be connected to all of them, such as the astral plane, the plane of dreams, and within the astral plane, the astral sea, there are various and sundry small demi-planes that wizards can use for storage. So like if you get a bag of holding, that's where it goes. It's a little pocket. So that is where you find out basically where the Feywild is located on this cosmic scale of everything.
But nothing specifically about the Feywild.
What are you looking for specifically for the Feywild?
I'm looking for the courts. I'm looking for information about fairies, fairy deals, all that stuff.
Okay. And while you do find this information about like the setup of the planes and how that works, it has a brief little description of each of the planes, and it does briefly talk about some of the courts. Talks about how like dusk and dawn are major factor of the Feywild. And then there are the seasonal courts. There's the court of summer, winter, autumn, and spring. And those are each led by different archfey. But that's not to say that there aren't other archfey that toy with other parts of nature. There's archfey that are in charge of music, and some that live in swamps. There's a whole bunch of them.
I'm going to take this section on the winter court and try and flag down a librarian.
Okay. So you start to try and flag down a librarian, and another person who looks like they might just be a citizen comes up to you. She's a drow woman who's using a wheelchair. She has long white hair and kind of lavendery purplish gray skin. Her hair is, of course, white, and it's kind of tied back into a braid that's sitting on her shoulders. And she's, her eyes are kind of naturally large, and the shape of them make her kind of look sad, even if she's not feeling sad, just in the shape of them. And they are a deep blue, and she's wearing she looks like a noble woman, and she's wearing a dress that complement her eyes nicely, and she kind of wheels over to you.
I'm sorry, are you do you work at the archives?
I do, yes. Did you need help with something?
I need everything you have on this, and I'm going to show her the information about the winter court.
And she kind of pulls it over and looks at it. Let's see. I'm not sure how much I have on specifically that right now. Unfortunately, much of the information that we have on the Feywild. She kind of thinks for a minute. I'll tell you what. If you'd follow me, I might have something upstairs.
Don't go to a secondary location.
And she literally wheels over to the stairs that are on the side of the desk. And do you speak Undercommon?
I do not.
She says something in Undercommon, and her chair sort of lifts off of the ground and starts to fly up to the second level.
Ooh.
God, yes.
That is very clever.
I love like casual magic application, and this is whew.
Her chair, in case you're interested, is functionally the same as a broom of flying.
Oh,
that's pretty
amazing. That is sick.
And I assume you follow her.
Yep.
There's and Hawk, are you coming along too?
He is, but he very quickly mutters to Demir, should I grab Lish?
No.
Okay. And then off we go, I guess.
She actually does not stay on the second floor. She continues up towards the restricted section that you guys were told is off limits to those without permission of the archivist.
I'm with an archivist.
Hawk's not convinced. Miss, we were told we weren't supposed to be up here without permission.
Don't worry at all. I live here. They won't say anything if you're with me.
I live here.
I see.
Sketchy.
I moved in amongst the books and they haven't caught me yet.
She's the archivist.
Day 907. They still haven't found me.
Hawk, if you wouldn't mind rolling an intelligence check.
Sure. Oh, that's a 3. 5.
Okay.
You wouldn't happen to be the archivist, would you?
I am actually the head archivist.
It's nice to meet you.
Likewise.
And with that, as she leads you upstairs away from the party, I think we'll call it here.
All right.
Hooray!
Hawk and Demir are alone upstairs. Nothing bad could possibly happen.
Nothing bad could possibly possibly happen.
Seduction
Final
round
boss
2. Let's
appears,
go.
blows up the whole archive.
Good luck.
I don't know. You know, a library is a very sexy place.
Like I said, good luck.
Yeah, there we go.
Who's got the luck feet?
We got some lore, and
Got some
we got
lore, we got
some-
some bath drakes, we got
we got
queen.
some
Well, some of us
bathhouse
got
drakes.
queen.
We got some gay. We got.
Yay.
There's always gay. What are you talking
We
about?
got my favorite
Maybe the real gay
NPC
was
that
the
I've
friends
created
made along the way.
The
If
kobold?
B, Levy, and Demir get together, we will be too powerful for the world to contain.
Oh, just you wait. We got a girls' bath day.
Yay!
Yay!
I can't wait until the entire party is actually dating. Just you know, a septuple.
God.
Oh,
It's
thank
fun.
you
Just
guys
need more
so
bathhouse
much.
episodes.
Well, I very purposefully included a bathhouse, so
And I very purposefully went there.
we had some good conversations.
Hell yeah.
Hawk is like hella
I've
intrigued
been
by
literally.
Demir and Lish right now at this point.
Intrigued how? Tell me your thoughts.
So Demir and Lish just seem to have like their own thing going on when he first joined, and like he gathered all suspicion, and then all this time like he thought like they were, you know, a duo or something, and then suddenly Demir's like, no, don't tell Lish. He's like, okay, what the hell is going on? There is something happening that I do not know, and I am too polite to ask right now.
Too polite to ask.
I have been awaiting literally 50 years for the moment when people finally see Tobias with his shirt off.
Oh.
And
And I
fucking
do
happened.
it again.
Well, I mean, Demir
I
can
am
certainly
I
arrange
am
for that.
surprised by how many party members we have with like unique body markings and or a body they want to not show.
Or all of it. show the whole thing.
Lish, meanwhile, just
Naked.
Lish,
Lish being
meanwhile,
like, armor is optional.
covered in hickeys, just blase, just not giving a fuck. It's great. How hard was Tobias diverting his eyes from the nose?
Oh, Tobias doesn't give a shit about the hickeys and stuff like
Okay,
that.
good.
It was more like when he was looking away at first, it was more of giving Lish, you know, respectable privacy and stuff.
How cute.
It's trying to be nice.
It is very
You can play nice.
No.
all right, guys. So thank you for a good session.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful DM, as always. And thank all of you guys for a wonderful session. I am so glad.
You too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to next time.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Woo. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Farewell.